Oh, I bet they swung her. Because she was the closest to that door. That's why she was the one that was stabbed. The hanging was not part of the ritual, and she was the one that was stabbed because she was closest to the sliding lock door. They needed to swing her to make the door close. I mean, to make the lock close. What turned the handle of the sliding lock? Flanking time. Oh no, only two choices? Effigy's hand, the katana's hilt. For sure. Dang it, I missed one. Missed two. What was done to make the katana turn the lock? Let's try to slow down just to make sure I get it. Katana was stabbed into the FG, for sure. This is a long one. Dang it. It's like 3 of them. There's 3 of them again, oh no. Something about the effigy. Yeah, kinda saw that coming. Oh. How was the effigy manipulated to make the katana affect the lock?
Normal. Mom, you gotta help her find out where.
Swinging it back and forth, for sure. Spinning it, making it fall. Miss? What? Spinning it? I guess, but it didn't seem that close.
So what? So the hanging wasn't part of the.
It wasn't part of the ritual.
That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist. Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place?
The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope.
That makes strictly. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock. And thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
Yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with the katana.
You're supposed to show her.
There's
more. There's further stuff.
I know, I showed her that. I am not gonna stand out there. I'm in pain. And I don't care a thing.
The sliding lock was pretty loose. You could push to move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Could have brought a chair out.
A couple times. They could keep trying until it locked.
Which is why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime as a protection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime.
I'm in pain. I don't feel it.
I didn't see that.
In any case, the culprit probably used a murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to lock from the effigy.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we'd think it was some kind of ceremony. That way, we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock close. I don't want to completely ignore that possibility. But I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually...
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
Cough it up, Kokichi!
Man, you guys got me. Okay,
You're telling the truth this time, right?
wanna say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. Yeah, and if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious.
By me.
Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking
Okay, I'll start right now.
Alright, so who's the asshole who set up this lock?
You, I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter, since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
What should we talk about now?
We must focus not on the lock, but on who entered Angie's lab. Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsurugi, Gota, Kibo, and Kokichi.
Don't forget Nico. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That is true.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. It's just a waste of time. Me?
Wait, why is there something
So,
on...
calling all suspects.
Why is there not an X on Angie's face?
I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would
Not
you do to
Angie.
get yourself
No.
off the suspect?
Oh wait, that's not Angie.
That's Tenko.
Why are you trying to
Look!
lead?
It's a halo and wings.
Oh no.
Silence,
That's
outsider.
stupid.
Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect Ranger?
I think
I agree.
Himiko actually
Those
did
under
it.
suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
I think Himiko's the killer.
We might catch them with their pants
On
down.
for both or just one?
Anyway,
Both.
I want to. What should we talk
Because there
about?
might be
What
2
should we say to get
killers.
ourselves
Oh
off the
yeah, it
suspect
could have been
list?
Tinker.
But-
Well, guys, I
But
wanna
the
hear
thing
what you
is,
think.
whoever killed Tenko can
That's sort of a
still
difficult question.
be around. They're not allowed to be the
Not
blackened.
smart enough to know answer to that.
Because technically,
Well, I'm pretty sure Himiko did not kill Tenko.
Not articulate with words.
you know what? It could, you know who it could have been?
Innocence.
Sumugi.
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them.
Which one is
You're probably plotting.
Oh, the cosplayer.
I wanna know
'Cause she
others'
really-
opinions too, but
But
can we talk about Tanko's
I think
case
so.
now and not just Angie?
At least killed Angie.
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko. The 2 victims could have been killed by 2 separate murderers, We need to find the first blackened, responsible for the first. We've got to figure out who killed. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. You suggest that to waste our time.
It's not meaningless! Tanko's death was meaningless! How
I
dare
mean, I
you?
don't think it's meaningless, but I think.
Tanko!
Oh,
How could you do this to her?
so she liked Tenko.
Himiko, stop it with your
So
crappy
maybe-
lies.
Oh, okay, she's not
Everything you said
Tenko's
is
killer,
so
so maybe she's Angie's killer.
You didn't give 2 shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead.
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. I know I ignored Tanko before. That's why I should have faced Tanko. Worked things out with her while she was still alive. And now, it's too late. I can't complain to her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously. It's way too late to realize that now. Our only option is to face her death head on. Himiko, I understand what you're going through.
What?
So I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito! Alright. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tango's death. The name of the curse is Death Curse. Suppose being dead with silence sounds pretty good.
Listen up. All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own that's just as bad as a hit and run. I won't forgive something so mad.
Tenko was our friend. Gonta wanna know why she died too.
I already told you that's so.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, even if this trial isn't for her. In order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death. Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Yeah, maybe.
So, what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tancrotch probably got killed during the seance, so... Tancrotch!
That's it! It was me, Kyo, Himiko, and Kokichi.
So those four are the
Oh, Himi?
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the four is really Kyo. He suggested the whole thing.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yet. If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose, but...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control. I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
Oh, right.
Also, we should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in this. The empty room had a point of entry from outside.
I was wrong! There! You're talking about under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person could move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighboring room.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another
Another suspect?
It's appearing, but... Whoa, I can see...
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now, hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance!
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second!
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How can I even see if they're under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, keep flashlight.
Huh? No, hold on a second. Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance. I said hold on a second. He used his robot functions to commit the murders. Hold on a second. The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor. But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor? Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Oh no! The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor? Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain
had a light.
I was wrong!
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
It was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't
Dark under the floor.
You see,
our villain had a light.
Light? You mean
Candle? I mean, Kibo's flashlight function. Huh? No, hold on a second. Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance. I said hold on a second. He used his robot functions to commit the murders. Hold on a second. The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor. But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
That's wrong!
I don't think the culprit could have used a light while under the floor. There was a hole in the corner of the room. If a light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen.
But when we did the seance, the room was definitely pitch black.
So a light was not shined under the floor, which means you can...
Geez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot. My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats. My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now
I neither want nor need your pity.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch-black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny? Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from under floor.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class trial?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that. That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too! But I'm just gonna ignore it.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though.
Oh, yeah. So then why was that floorboard loose?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive...
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us close.
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So not during seance?
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
Yes. That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside Cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her.
Then she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
A different time?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shithead. Huh? Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your limp dick brains! When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time, and she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Ooh, like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tanko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit!
There's no doubt! When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time, and she was dead when the cage was lifted. What about moment Cage was lifted?
That's wrong! No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood. That cloth was removed before the cage. If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
What? But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so...
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here! No, it's still wrong to think that
What?
I don't like those
I'm gonna
ones.
prove it right now.
A debate.
The showdowns.
Loose floorboard.
Tenko died after
Iron
the
cage.
seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage! They set the thin blade through the gaps, and that clean white sheet got stained blood red!
But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting there with her neck all exposed. She wasn't that far from the cage's gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is the culprit, and that's none other than Kyo! The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage,
Sickle
it'd
under
be
the
long
floor.
enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Damn it!
How did he make a
That's
mistake?
all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage,
There would be a
it'd
hole.
long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Okay, so that means...
I was wrong!
Two options, iron cage.
If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Marker stone.
I'll cut through your words.
Yeah, I don't know how that's the thing I needed, but okay.